Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. My name is Donat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you like the video. As soon as you get in here, subscribe to the channel. I'm actually going to be reading the transcripts from today, August the 27th, 2026, which was mostly the cross-examination of OTF Jam, aka Mr. Hester. If at any time you want to support your content creator, Cash App $Donat007 up top, and follow me on every single platform as you see below: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere at Donat Point of View, and on YouTube at Donat Savage Analyst. Thank you guys so much. And organically, we're doing big things. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get into these transcripts. All right. Throughout the jury, thereupon the jury returned to the courtroom. The court, good morning, members of the jury. All 15 of you here. Good morning, counsel, gentlemen, and the good morning, members of the public. Surprisingly, enough in this trial, there is, I think, one thing on which everyone can agree, which is, oh, good morning, Mr. Hester. Can we agree is that we want it to be comfortable? And in fact, I've asked space and facilities to try to lower the temperature here in the courtroom. It seems kind of warm and stuffy to me, but we'll do our best. But in the meantime, we will continue with Mr. Hester's testimony. He is on the stand, obviously, and is still on the oath. The counsel, you may proceed. Mrs. O'Connor, excuse me, Your Honor. We don't have a view of the witness. Could we move the screen a little bit? Of course, thank you. Maybe the other way. Yeah, the other way, thank you. And as long as the juries obviously need one as well, and we'll try to figure out the right location here. Thank you so much. Is there anybody on the jury who cannot see Mr. Hester? If so, raise your hand. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Partial. Okay, thank you, jury number 4. Jury number 3, good for you too? Great. All right. Then thank you for letting me know that. You may proceed. Thank you, Your Honor. Direct examination by the government. Good morning, Mr. Hester. Good morning. When we left off, we were in the early morning hours of August 19, 2022, when you checked into the hotel with Mr. Jones, who you call Flacco, the CVL shorty, Mr. Lindsay, and you had indicated that you, Mr. Wilson, was with you as well. You guys were all in this hotel. Is that correct? Yeah. And Boogie, excuse me. And Mr. Houston. Yeah. All right. Now, you mentioned that Cuz handled the check-in of the hotel. Yeah. Did Cuz spend the night with you at the hotel? No. Did Cuz accompany the group to the hotel room at any point? Did he come upstairs or did he come to the room with you guys? I think he walked us like we walked to the room together, like he ended up leaving. Okay. And when you all went into the hotel room, were there firearms on the table? We put them on the table. There was a little table, like a nightstand, like a table in between the beds or on the side of the beds or another. It was like a little table that was like by the little sliding door. Got it. And you indicated that a few of you were smoking and then you went to sleep. Yes. Before you went to sleep, was there any explicit or direct communications or discussions about what was going to happen the next morning? Or was it just assumed in your mind what was going to happen? I don't remember no discussion, if I'm being honest. I don't really remember no discussion. Okay, so you woke up in the morning. Yeah. Do you remember around what time? Was it early? Was it late in the morning? It was early, but I ain't for sure about the time though. Like, I couldn't tell you the exact time, but it was in the morning. Understood. And who was in the room when you woke up? Some people that Boogie, me, Didi, Flacco, CVL, Shorty, Lindsay, whatever you call him, understood. Did you have at some point you left the hotel? Is that right? Yes. Before you left the hotel, did you or any of you conversate about either the previous night or what were you doing there to do generally, if you recall? I don't recall. Okay, so you ended up leaving the hotel. Is that right? Yeah. Tell us how that happened. Why did you end up leaving and what caused you to leave? We left so we can try to catch Quando and them. When you say we left, who left? All of us. Me, Didi, Flacco, Boogie, Lindsay, Cuz. Cuz came back to the hotel. We all, what was that? Cuz came back. Cuz came back to the hotel. Yeah. Okay. And did he come back with the BMW? Yes, he was in his own car. What vehicle did you travel in, if you recall? Did you go to the Level Hotel? Yeah. What vehicle did you travel in, if you recall? Between the Slider, the hot car versus the BMW? Yeah, it was the Slider. Okay. And who was with you? Me, Boogie, Flacco, and Lindsay. Where was Mr. Wilson? Do you know? He was in the car with Cuz, the BMW. Yeah. At some point, did he get to the Level Hotel in the morning time? Yes. Can we publish exhibit 13, page 11? Okay, I'm showing you exhibit 13, page 11. Do you recognize this vehicle parked outside of the Level Hotel? Yeah. That looked like the BMW? Yes. Okay, and when you got to the hotel, when you got to the location, eventually Quando and Cuz left in the black Escalade. Is that correct? Yes. So if you could explain to the jury what happens between the time that you all followed the black Escalade at the time and you initially get there, walk us through that. You arrived there, and then what happened? Yeah, we were circling around, and we was paying attention to them, trying to see if it was a moment where we can get them. But it was like they came out with their bags and stuff. It was other people that came out. It was like other people in front of the hotel, and it was just like wasn't a good time. Maybe it was so many random people right there. And if you notice random people being there from circling the block, yeah, was the slider the hot car in communication with the folks in the BMW? Yeah, we stayed in communication with each other. Okay, and so the decision was made not to do anything. Yes. If it had been a less populated sort of area, more quiet, would you all have just shot him right there outside the Level Hotel? Yes. Okay. So while you were there on the ground, though, before the Escalade leaves and before the victims checked out, any conversation that you remember between you and any other people that you were with, including those who were in the BMW? One thing I can really remember that it was just us saying, like, people saying that it was too cluttered, like just too many people there. Other than that, I don't really remember no other conversation really. When you say the conversation was that too many people were there, it was too crowded. Do you remember anyone in particular that who talked about that other than you? It sounds like what I'm asking is just to make my question more clear, where it came from. Do you remember whether it was you had that conversation about too many people being there with Flacco or CVL Shorty or Mr. Wilson or anyone? Do you remember any specific statements from anybody about that? I don't. Okay, but you just remember that was the general conversation. Yeah. Okay. And was that the case all the way until the Escalade pulled off? Is that all you remember until the Escalade pulled off? Yeah, really, yeah. Okay, at the moment the Escalade pulled off, do you remember, were you still in the slider? Yes. Okay, and do you remember whether you directly followed the escalator in the slider? We was following them, yeah. What about the BMW? Was it following as well? Yes. Where did you first go? Where did we first go? Like when we was following them? Well, I should say where did the Escalade go first, if you recall? I just remember it going to the weed dispensary. That is what I can remember. It going to the weed dispensary, pulling into it was like a parking garage that was attached to the dispensary. Okay, if we could publish exhibit 78, page 1. Showing you exhibit 78, page 1. Do you recognize the store? Yeah. What do you recognize it to be? The dispensary. Okay, let's go to page 2, please. Showing you page 2, the same exhibit. Do you recognize this scene at all? Yeah. How do you recognize this? That's the truck they was in. Do you remember the truck ever being parked outside? Yeah, it was parked outside before it parked in the lot, before it parked or was that before or after? Let me show you the next page. Next page, please. Is that like the lot area you were discussing? Yeah. So as you all were circling this, were you able to look into the lot and see that the car was there? Yeah. So he was like, I don't remember it being that far back. It's like, if that's the truck, I don't remember it being there, but I remember seeing this car with the stripes, this truck, but the Escalade was like closer. If that's the truck, it was closer. I remember seeing it closer to like the exit at some point. Just so we are clear, when you say that you remember seeing a truck with stripes, are you referring to the white and blue striped SUV that appears on the left-hand side? Yeah. On page 3 of exhibit 78. Yeah, okay. Go to the next page, please. Showing you the next page, exhibit 4. Is this more like what you remember seeing, the Escalade closer to the white and blue SUV? Yeah. Okay, next page, please. I'm showing you page 5 of 78. Do you recognize anything that I'm showing you? I don't remember that. Okay, so you don't remember Rondo coming outside and taking photographs. No, I didn't see that. Next page. Actually, let's go to the next one. Sorry, the next one. Okay, showing you page 8 of exhibit 78. Do you recognize this vehicle that I'm circling? Yeah. Does that look like the slider? Yeah. Okay. Would that have been you in that vehicle? Yeah. What are you guys doing? Trying to see like if they was close enough to whatever you just jumped out, get a man, hop back in the car. What do you mean by jump out and get them? Like a quick getaway, like jump out of the car if they was like right there at the opening, shoot them up and go about our way. Let's go to the next page. Showing you page 9 of the same exhibit. Do you recognize the vehicle I circled with the white infinity car? Yeah. Does that look like the slider? Yes. Okay. Next page. And it looks like in the distant, that same vehicle is making a right turn. Right. Okay. Is that consistent with what you remember? Circling the block. Yeah. We just circling the block. We circled a couple of times and then we eventually parked. When you say we eventually parked, do you mean the individuals in the slider? Yes. And who was in that vehicle? Me, Flocka, Boogie, and Lindsay, the people who ultimately ended up doing the shooting. Yes. Those same people. Okay. And where was the BMW at this point when we parked? Yes, they kept circling and moving around. There was like a parking lot on the opposite side of the street from the dispensary, a little bit down, and we was parked there. Like we could still see, but we couldn't see good. But it was a visual, and Didi and them still just driving around in the BMW, looking in. We at one point, I don't remember whose vehicle, whose decision it was, but it was. I know it came from either Cuz or Didi. Like somebody should go in there and see where they at, like if they where we can get them. And that's when they came and we got into the car with me and Lindsay got into the car with Cuz and Didi and we pulled up. Shorty decided that he would be the one that walked in the dispensary to see where they were. Can I stop you for 1 second? Yeah. So at one point, it sounded like the slider stops, parks, and you are saying that you got back into the BMW with Cousin Diddy? Yes. And CVL Shorty was there, was with you and Mr. Lindsay as well? Yes. Where was everybody seated? Cuz was driving. I know Cuz was driving. Didi was in the passenger seat and we was in the back. I ain't sure. I don't remember who was behind who, but me and him was in the back seat. Okay, and where you all parked at that point in the BMW or driving? No, we was driving, but I know Lindsay had got out. He had got out of the car and he took his hoodie and stuff off, had his regular clothes on, and he went in there. Okay, and you said that it was discussed amongst the group that someone should go see exactly where those guys are inside of the business. Yeah, to see if we was able to run inside of there. Do you remember whose idea that was? Like I say, I don't remember. I know it came from either Cuz or Didi, one of them, but I ain't sure. Okay. But all four of you were in the car having that discussion about that plan. Is that right? No, originally it was being talked from car to car. Okay, give me 1 second. I want to make sure everything is good. Seeing you all over social media with Dub. Look, oh, thank you so much. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. And that's what made us get in the car with them. And Shorty went to get out of the car and see, right? But just so I understand, at some point you get in that car and there is the discussion going inside of the store to see where they are. Does that discussion occur in the BMW between the four of you, or does that decision occur? Yes, over the phone. The decision happened originally on the phone between the two cars. That was the discussion. Somebody should go in there and see where they at. And we was trying to see who the hell. I know I wasn't going to walk in there without, I don't know if there was cameras or not. He decided he would go walk in there. So that is when they came out and got us. And we got in the car with them. And then, he got out. He walked into the dispensary. We pulled up some. And I think we circled first. Then we pulled up a little bit. He went in and he came out at some point, got back in the car with us. Did he report back? I can't tell you how long he was in there, but did he tell you guys what he saw? Yeah. What did he say? He said that he really couldn't see them. They was in the back somewhere, but there was an armed security and basically no, it couldn't be done. I couldn't tell you all of the exact words, but I know he said there was an armed security in there and they was in the back somewhere where we couldn't see them. I see. Let me just ask you, up to this point, right from the point that you reached the Level Hotel to, it sounds like now you're at the weed store trying to figure out what you're going to do next. Did you hear from, or did anyone hear from, as far as you know, Mr. Banks, Durk Banks? I don't remember. Did anyone mention him, if you recall? Yeah, I honestly can't say. Okay, and so CVS Shorty tells you guys what he saw. What happened next? He got in the car, we pulled off, and we went and sat in the back in the car with Boogie and Flocka, and we were sitting there for a long ass time, and they were still driving. I don't know if they stopped, I don't know, but we went back to that parking lot we was parked in. Okay, when you say we went back to the parking lot we were parked in, do you mean just the people who ended up in the mobile gas station committing the shooting, as in Asia Houston? Yeah, like, so we picked Lindsay. Well, Lindsay got back in the car with us from leaving out of the dispensary and telling us what he saw. We went, they dropped us back off to the car with Boogie and them, and we sat there and we was just waiting. And then it got to the point where, like, because at first the parking lot was kind of empty, like we were seeing a couple of people, but there wasn't no movement really. And then it got to a point where a lot of people, like, I don't know if people was backing off work or something, but a lot of people started to come in and out of the parking lot, and we like, damn, we just sitting here like with these hoodies on in this car, like this shit going to look suspicious. So we decided to pull off in that parking lot and leave. At any point around this time, did you have any second thoughts about what was happening? Yeah, of course. Can you tell us about that? Yeah, so when we had, like I said, when we had pulled off and all the people started coming, we had went and parked. It was like I think it was like a Catholic school. That is what it looked like a church and a school, but it was a parking lot, and we pulled in that parking lot, and we all got out of the car. Me, Flocka, Lindsay, Boogie, we got out of the car, and I'm just like, this shit don't feel right. Like, nothing about it feels right. Like, nothing is consistent. Like we trying to scramble to do some shit. Like, it can't go wrong. Like, it didn't feel right. You know what I'm saying? It didn't. I actually said that to them, that it didn't feel right. One second. When you say you said that to them, do you mean that you were talking to the CVS Shorty, Flocka, and Boogie? And Boogie, right? What did you tell them? I just said it don't feel right, bro. Like, this shit just ain't nothing consistent. Like, there is no real plan. Like, what were your concerns when you say it doesn't feel right? What were you concerned about? Like, something can go wrong, like police interfering with us, like us getting caught basically. Did you ever express the desire to call it off? Yeah, to who? So we had walked to a store, we had parked, and I had text Didi. I text Didi like, man, bro, they scared. I basically texted him and told him like, Flock and them are scared, like they scared, bro. Like, I don't think we should do it with them, bro, because they too jittery. Like, that was my way of trying to get it called off without basically saying, no, I ain't doing it like that. I tried to throw it off that way, like use it in the type of scenario like, they scared, bro. Like, we shouldn't do it to them. Like, why were you telling that to Didi? So Didi can be like, basically call it off. Why didn't you want to call it off? I mean, I know, I know they will really want the dude gone, and I felt like Didi calling it off is one thing than me calling it off, because I felt like him and Blood got a bad relationship. Shit, Blood, I felt like Blood ain't going to get that mad at him. Shit, he tell me like, no, this shit don't feel right. So you prefer that Didi tell Blood that he didn't feel right about it than you? Yeah. What was it? What was the difference between your relationship with Blood and Didi's relationship with Blood that made you feel that way in your view? Shit, they were close and shit. My bad. Express yourself in your own words. Okay. They had time in the streets together. You know what I'm saying? To build that bond. Me and Blood didn't have that before I went to jail. Like I say, we see each other at parties. Like, it wasn't really a relationship. Like, they got a chance to build a relationship with each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was close. What did you think the reaction would be if you called it off versus Diddy? Mr. Stills, just object to speculation, sir. Overruled. Shit, I felt like they feel a type of way. Like I said from the beginning, like, you don't get in the way of something like that being done. So I don't know. I can't 100% say how he would feel, but I know I just didn't feel comfortable being the one to call it off. Like, did you think under those circumstances, did you have any concerns about whether it would be dangerous for you to call it off? Of course, hell yeah. Why do you say that? Because like I say, man, you don't, that is just not something you do. You don't get in the way of somebody killing somebody. Like, that is not what we do. Like, where I'm from, it is not what we do. That will get you killed, like, for real. Then I'm out here in LA, like, they paid for my flight, bro. I just did 12 years in jail. I don't know how to book no flights. I don't know how to do none of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, these people is my way out, my way back, all that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just trying to just go with the flow and let it be what it's going to be. You've said a couple of times they calling something off in this scenario could get you killed. Did you have some concerns that if Didi called it out that would get him killed? No, why not? Because that is his homie, bro. Like we all homies, but you gotta understand, people got when you thug with somebody and you've been through a lot with people, they built a different type of bond. When y'all in the streets together and lose people together and stuff, like it build a deeper bond. Like it's different. People become more like brothers and stuff, bro. When you're in the streets and you do a lot of stuff together and you're there for each other and it just build a different bond. You felt that was present with Didi and Blood, but not with you and Blood. Yeah. Okay, so it sounds like what you text message Blood, excuse me, text message Didi, you said they're scared. Who are you referring to? Flocka and Lindsay. Okay, and just to kind of orientate us in that vehicle between those four people, including yourself, Flocka, Lindsay, Boogie, who was the closest to you in that car? Yes, Boogie. That was you called him your rappy. Yeah. Okay, so you were telling Didi that these guys aren't ready, right? Is that true? Did you feel like they weren't ready? No, it ain't how I felt. That was just my way of trying to like, no, bro, like call this shit off. Like, let's not do this. Okay, did you get a response to that text message or what happened? No, just no response at all. No. So you are in this church parking lot. It sounds like that's when you sent the text message. Right. Okay, what happens next? We got a call that Quando and them was leaving out the dispensary. Okay, when you say we got a call, do you mean the folks in the slider with you? Yes. I don't remember who phone got called, but we got a call that they was leaving out the dispensary. You were parked when you got that call? Yeah. Who was in that call with you guys? It was Didi and Cuz, but I don't, like I said, I don't remember who phone got a call, who was the specific. I can't remember that at this point who was the actual person that called, but it was one of them who called. Understood. When they are, let me ask you this, sort of in the general, when the cars are communicating with each other via phone, is it like on speaker, FaceTime, where everybody in your car could hear what was happening in the conversation in the BMW? Do you understand my question? Sometimes, yeah. Okay, so once you get that call from that Quando Rondo was leaving the dispensary, what happened next? We got in the car to rush where Cuz and them was, following them out, and they was using Flocka's phone. They was sending their location to Flocka's phone, like steady dropping the location, like where they at, but Flocka phone ended up dying. And then I think it was Cuz started sending the location to me, like back to back, multiple locations, like where they at. And we trying to make it to where they at. And then at some point, like we lost them somewhere, like they lost them, like, so we were scrambling, like going in one direction. They would go to the other direction, like trying to find the truck again. So when you say, just so that the jury is clear, when you say that they were sending Flocka their location, in other words, the BMW was sending Flocka their location, yes. Do you mean like dropping a pin location? Yeah. Can you explain what that means? Like you sending where you are right now, like at that point, like you could send it through iPhones. I'm not good with technology, but so I don't really know how to explain it other than you can just send where you are at that point in time to someone's phone. That's the only way I know how to explain. Understandable. But in essence, it wasn't like it was a phone call. Hey, we are here. Hey, we are there. You were saying location was being sent through phones. Yes, okay. If we could publish, just one moment, counsel. Mr. Hester, you mentioned a truck. Were you referring to the black Escalade? Yes. All right. Thank you. Okay, go ahead, counsel. Thank you, Your Honor. If we could publish Exhibit 8, please, page 4. Showing you Exhibit 8, page 4. Do you recognize the black truck that you just described? Yes. Is that the vehicle that we all were following? Yes. Do you recognize the white vehicle that appears to be behind it? Yeah. Is that the slider or hot car? Yes. Is that the one that you, Flocka, Lindsay, and Boogie were in? Yes. Do you remember where do you remember where folks were sitting? I know Boogie was driving. I think Flocka was in the passenger seat. Yeah, I don't really remember like 100%. Like I don't really remember. I just know Boogie was driving, and I think maybe I was behind Flocka. I know Flocka and Boogie was in the front seat. Me and Lindsay was in the back. Okay, could we go to page 5, please? Showing you page 5 of Exhibit 8. Do you recognize the same black truck y'all were following? Yeah. And do you recognize the slider or hot car? Yeah. At points when you all were following this truck, were there instances where you got up this close to it? Yeah. How many instances where you can remember that you were very close to the truck? Like give you a for sure number? Just ballpark it for us. Was this the only time or was it multiple times? No, it was multiple times, like 6, 7 probably. During those time periods, were you all were that close? Was there any discussion of just shooting the vehicle in the traffic? Yes. Tell us about it. So we thought about it, but it was like drive-bys. You're going to hit somebody, like we might shoot the car, but is anybody going to get hit? No, like you got to make sure where a person at to get where you want. Mr. Hester, I just want to make sure that everybody can hear you. Oh, my bad. Maybe your hand is muffling, but yeah, we talked about it and we was basically saying like we got to be sure about it. Like if you pull up on the side of somebody and shoot, like is we going to hit them? Like the bullets might going to find the car, but is it going to hit the person that we're trying to hit? And is that a discussion that is happening inside of the slider, or is that a discussion that is happening within with the BMW over the phone? Who is having this discussion? We having it. But if I ain't mistaken, like the other car was on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like we was having a discussion with the BMW, but I think they was on the discussion from a phone too, though. Okay, so I'm sorry. You were having the conversation in the slider, yes, and you said that you think that the BMW was in on the discussion. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they was on the phone too. Who do you think? Why do you think that? Because they stayed, like we stayed on the phone, like we was constantly on the phone, like talking to each other and stuff and saying stuff. Like I couldn't tell you word for word everything that was being said, but we was in different communication with each other through phone. Understood. Do you remember where the black truck stopped next? I just remember it going to the vape store. And I'm going to show you a video of that vape store. And can you just, if you can just walk us through kind of what was going on at the time to the extent that you can. Publish Exhibit 108, please. Do you recognize the black truck? Yeah. Do you remember where you all were at the same time in traffic? When you say in traffic, do you mean circling the vehicle? Yeah. Pause it right here. Okay, just pause this video. It appears the individuals in the black truck got out, yes, and they are heading towards the store. Is that the vape store? Yeah. Just so it's clear, you are saying the vape store, BAPE. That is a clothing store about which we have previously heard. Is that yes, Your Honor? Thank you. Okay, go ahead with your question. Now, when they parked, like we just saw in the video, did you all see them get out of the vehicle or not? Or I should say, speaking for yourself, do you remember seeing these individuals get out of the car? No, I don't remember. I don't remember seeing them get out. Like I can't really personally see them get out. No. Play the video. They played the video. Okay, I'm just going to play it here. If you remember anything, let me know. And they played the video, the Escalade pulling up to the BAP store. But it sounds like you all were just circling at this point. Is that correct? Yes. Was there any discussion either in the slider or between the slider and the BMW about committing the murder right here at the vape store? Yes. Can you tell us about that? So Diddy was saying we could just run. Y'all could just run in there and get him. They in the store. And cause somebody had said like that, like, well, what if they gone? What if they got one of them doors? I think they got one of them doors that like you got to get buzzed in and shit. A motherfucker don't want to run in there and get locked in there. So people had said something about holding the door. Maybe somebody can hold the door. Yeah, it was a discussion. Okay, and that discussion, it sounded like was involving Diddy and Cuz. Yes, and that was that the conversation? Was that a conversation over the phone with the slider? Yes. Okay, and you mentioned something about the door locking automatically, locking behind itself. Yes, kind of like a jewelry store, huh? Never mind. But essentially, you were concerned that the door would lock behind the people who were in the store, right? Why would that cause a problem? Because how you going to get out if you go in there and it get locked, right? You think the owner is going to just buzz you out? Like, got it. So all of you were considering going into the store and committing the murder. Yes. And you were concerned that you would get locked in. Yes. Understood. So what happened next? You decided not to do that. What happened next? We went back to following them. If we could remove this exhibit, you can take it down. And where do you follow them to? After that, I just remember going to the gas station. Like, I can't tell you, like, literally, I'm not from here, so I can't tell you, like, what routes or nothing like that. I just remember the babe store, and I remember following them to a gas station. Don't know what routes, but I remember following them to a gas station. It sounds like you weren't familiar with the area that you were in. No, you didn't. you didn't know you were in Beverly Hills or adjacent to it across the street from the Beverly Center. I didn't even know what the Beverly Center was until my attorney said it to me. If we could publish Exhibit 13, page 62, I'm showing you Exhibit 13, page 62. Do you recognize the gas station here? Yes. Okay. Is that the mobile gas station that you followed the black truck to? Yes. Okay. And once the black truck pulled into the gas station, tell me what you remember. If I'm being honest, once again, I can't tell you word for word how the discussion went, but we came to the decision that we was just going to do it at the gas station. Like this was a chance, just do it. Like I don't remember how we did it. And I know that was the decision, and we pulled into the gas station. I remember we pulled in and we had rode past one of them, it was like the taller one that was with them. We had rode past them like we was close to them. We was close to him. He was like mugging the car, but I don't know if he can't like see us in the car. But so one of the people who had been inside of the truck got out of the truck at the gas station. Yeah. And they appeared to be staring at the white Infinity slider. Yeah. That you were in. We pulled past them. Yeah. You were driving past and that person appeared to be staring at the slider. Yeah. Do you remember what that looked like? You said tall. Any other descriptions? Dark skinned dude, just a tall, dark skinned dude. I can't give you a full description of him. Okay. But in any event, at some point, it was decided that you guys were going to do it right then and there. Yes. And was that decision decided inside of well, let me ask you this. When that was decided, do you remember or do you know where the BMW was not too far from us in traffic somewhere? Were you in communication with the BMW? Yes. Did the folks in the slide in the BMW make that sort of group decision to do it then and there? Yes. You had been following them from 9 a.m. ish to now. It's late in the afternoon. You agree with that? Yeah. We was following them for a minute. Yeah. Why did you all make the decision to do it there at that point? Like I said, I couldn't tell you word for word, but it's been a minute. I couldn't tell you word for words, but we just came over to. I know we made a decision like this is the place, this is the time, just let's do it. Okay, and from that point, it sounds like it looks like you were in the gas station at that point. Do you remember where you guys drove to get to the location where you actually got out of the car with the guns? Do you remember where we drove? Do I remember where we drove? Yeah. Like, did you have to go around the block to come back to the gas station or did that work? How did that work? Do you remember the path you took? Yeah, we had to come around. I ain't sure what direction. Like we took a left or we took a right, but yeah, we had to circle around and come back and went through the alley. Okay, I'm going to show you a video that captures multiple surveillance angles, including the white Infinity car appearing to drive away. And I'm going to ask you some questions about it after we are done. Okay. All right. Mr. Morris plays 109. Please. They play the video. Excuse me. Excuse me a moment. Mr. Steele, were you just scratching for a moment or are you getting ready to object to something? No, I was just scratching. Go ahead, counsel. Thank you, Your Honor. Play it. They played the video at the gas station. Pause it there. Okay, I paused the video. It appears that 3 masked and hooded sweatshirt men are walking in our direction in channel 20. We can play it a little bit more if you need, but do you know who these you versus Flocka versus CVL Shorty? I do. Let's just go a little bit further so they get a little bit closer. Okay, stop. Tell us who is here. The one that is first, because I remember the CVL Shorty, he jumped out of the car first and he jumped out fast. And I remember trying to catch up to him. That is him. Okay, so up front, is that CVL Shorty? Yeah, okay. Do you know what kind of gun he had? Yeah, he had the Beretta. Okay, you said he jumped out of the car first. Yeah. Before you guys jumped out of the car, did you discuss rather you were going to walk up close to them or rather you were going to shoot them from a distance? Any discussions like that? I mean, I'm used to walking up on people, so I just thought, but no, there wasn't a discussion. But that is what I thought. I didn't think he was going to start shooting as fast as he did. The CVL Shorty started shooting first. Yeah. So you all didn't discuss who was going to shoot first or how close you were going to get. No, you just jumped out and just kind of just went with the group. Yeah. Okay. And just so we are clear, the man in the middle here with the red appears to have red shoes. Is that you? That is me. Okay. And the man to your left or right in channel 20, who is that? That is Flocka. Okay. play it. They played the video, pause it there. Do you recognize the vehicle that is coming our way in this photo or in this video? And it ain't close enough. Let's play it a little bit more. Keep going. Yeah, is that the slider? Yeah. Do you remember escaping, your escape route being the alleys that were adjacent to that, where that gas station was? Yeah. Okay. So can you put us in that car? What is happening? What is happening when you guys drive off? Any discussions? What is going on? So yeah, we pulling out. Boogie driving fast as hell. We turned the corner like up a regular street, and I told Boogie, like, I'm like, slow down, bro. Drive regular. You feel me? Like, because speeding is giving more attention. I feel like we had a little distance. So I'm like, bro, slow down, bro. Like, just be cool. And we was on the phone with Didi and them. And Didi was asking us, just like, did you all hit something? Like, did somebody get hit? You know? And we weren't sure then. Motherfuckers was asking us, like, how many shots got off? Like, basically, like, what happened? Like, who shot what? Who did what? Like, so let me ask you this question. How many times did you shoot, if you remember? Like 4 times. And could you tell how many times other folks were shooting, or you could not? Man, it happened so quick. I just remember, like, Shorty started shooting first. Boom, 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 boom. Like, I came up side of him and I started shooting at him. I heard that switch go off. You know what I'm saying? It shot there and it shot fast. And when the CVL shorty, he fell. So I low-key thought he got shot. Like, so I'm like, what? He like, damn, Flocka, you almost shot me. Like, you shot that gun. Like, bro, what? You know, he yelling at Flocko about shooting over his head like that. You know what I'm saying? It was quick, bro. So I ain't pretty chaotic. Yeah. Now, you guys were shooting at a gas pump. Did you have any concerns that there could be fires, explosions? No. Okay, so going back to this point that we see in this video, you were saying that Diddy was asking who shot what. Yeah. Okay, and you just said you did about 4 shots so far, as you know. Yeah. Did you respond to that question? We all responded. Lindsay, like, basically said he almost emptied his whole clip. And Flocko, I say, like, the switcher got off, but it jammed. And we like, yeah, that switch got off. Like, I pulled the clip out the gun I had, and I looked. I'm like, damn, I was just specific. How many times I'm like, I said 8, but I ain't shot 8 times. But that's what I said, though. And again, that is, could you hear what was going on inside of the BMW? Did it sound like the phone was on speaker? Could you hear Cuz? Is that what I'm saying? Did I hear Cuz talking? Yeah. If I understand you correctly, you guys were in the slider. You got a call from Didi asking who shot what. Is that right? Right. Okay. Could you hear, as far as you understand, was Didi in the BMW with Cuz at the time? Yeah, he was in there. Yeah, he stayed in that car. He didn't go nowhere else. He was with Cuz. Could you hear Cuz on the phone call as Didi is asking about who shot what? I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't remember hearing Cuz. I couldn't tell you. I probably did, but I can't say yes or no. I just remember Didi asking those questions. Okay. If we could play the rest of this video. It's played. Stop. All right. Did you see the slider appear to go down the alley and make a left turn into what looks like a residential area? Yeah, that's when I told him, slow down, just drive regular, bro. What happened next? We drove a little bit. We made another turn. I don't know how many blocks we drove up before we had the turn, but we had a right-hand turn and we parked. It was like a side block. We parked, and when you say a side block, do you mean like a residential area? Yeah. So you parked, and what happened? We all jumped out the car. Like CVL Shorty, he jumped out the car, like unzipping his hoodie, just throwing. I'm just like, bro, no, like, just calm down, bro. Like, grab your gun, like, because he just tossed the gun too. No, bro, grab it. You know what I'm saying? And I took him. I didn't take my hoodie off yet. I grabbed my gun. It was a garbage can right there. And I told him bring his gun. And I lift the bag up and put his gun underneath the bag and close the garbage can. And we brought the car straight. It was like a building. But if the building had like a parking garage, like underneath it, like an apartment building kind of deal with an apartment garage underneath it. Yeah, like we went down there. We went under there. That's when I took off my hoodie, tossed it like, you know, in the corner. It was like some steps. We walked back to the steps and we was driving. We was dropping our location. I think I dropped my location to let them know where was at so they could come pick us up. And then, well, maybe it was Flocka. It was one of us. Did they pick you up eventually? Yeah. Didi and Cuz, yeah. How far did you have to walk from your location to meet up with Didi and Cuz in the BMW? Like, it was almost a full block. Like, where they was at and where we was at, because we was on this corner, like where the side block was at. We was at that corner and they picked us up like up the street on a busy street, like on the right hand side of the street from where we was at. So you met up with them, yeah. Okay, and so at that point it was Boogie, yourself, Flocka, and the CVL Shorty, yes, and that is for people. So when the BMW picks you up, it has two people in it. Yeah. Didi and Cuz, yeah. Just so the jury is aware, Flocka is a pretty big guy. Pretty big dude. You would agree with that? Flocka big, Boogie big. I guess I'm kind of, yeah. Flock is like over 6'3", 6'4", something like that. Yeah. Okay, and you all got into the BMW. Yeah. How did that work? I couldn't tell you the positions, but I was laying on top of them. Like all four of us was in the back, and I was laying on top of them, like literally, like we squished in that bit. Like had to jam myself up in there, and I was laying on top of them, like across them. Okay, so three in the back. That meaning Flacco. It was four in the back, right? So including you, yeah. But not including you was Flacco, but not including you was Flacco, the CVL Shorty, Mr. Lindsay, and Boogie, yeah. And you laid on top of them, yeah. May I have one moment, Your Honor? You may. Pause proceedings. All right. So there's three individuals are sitting in the back seat and you lay on top of them. Is that what you're saying? Yes. You said all of you were big guys. Yeah. What about, was Cuz driving? Yeah. Is Cuz a big guy? Cuz, no. Smaller guy? Yeah. Okay, and so you lay down on top of the three individuals in the back. What happened next? We were driving. I'm not sure at that time we had a specific location, but we were driving. Diddy was on the phone with Blood, and Diddy was on the phone with Mr. Banks. Yeah. This is while you were all in the BMW. Yes. Okay. When you got into the BMW, was he already on the phone with Mr. Banks, or did that phone call begin while you were en route in the BMW, if you recall? I'm not sure. We was busy trying to pack ourselves in the car. Like, I'm laying on top of people, so I didn't get in and look and see who was on the phone. Like, I couldn't even tell you. Do you remember when you realized that Blood was on the phone? Yeah, I could hear his voice. Was it when you guys were already driving? Yeah. And what did you hear anything that he said? He was asking the same thing that Didi already asked us when he was driving off. And what was that? What was he asking specifically? Did someone get hit? How many times did you shoot? Like basically asking what we did do. Did you respond? Yeah, we basically all said the same thing. Like he was like, even though we can hear Blood, like we would say it, but Didi had turned around and basically saying the same thing. He's saying like answering his questions for him type shit. Got it. So if I understand correctly, you are saying that Didi was asking questions. There was responses from people in the car, and then he would repeat that to the persons on the phone with him. Right. And you heard Blood's voice. Yes. Was this like a speakerphone situation? Yeah. Like in other words, you could hear it. Yes. And how did you hear how Mr. Banks replied, how you replied? Yeah. What did he say in response? Do you remember? Like after he telling how many times we shot? Yes, honestly don't remember. Okay, so what happened next? I remember going to the burger place, the In-N-Out Burgers place. We went there. Publish exhibit 27. Video is played. Forward it just a little bit, maybe like 30, 45 seconds. Stop it there. You said from there you remember going to the burger place. Yes. Okay, but have you seen this video that we're about to see where you get out of the black Escalade here? Yeah, I've seen it. Do you have any recollection of switching cars, getting out of the BMW and getting into the black Escalade that we see here? I honestly don't. Like I told you, I'll be full. At some point we switched cars, but I honestly don't remember and don't remember where. Okay, having seen this video, you know that you were in this car when you arrived at the In-N-Out, correct? Right. Okay, take it down. Tell me what happened once you walked into the In-N-Out. Once we walked in, yes, I see the police officer, and he looked at me, but he sized me up, like looked me up and down. And when he did that, in my mind, I don't know if I was just my nerves getting the best of me or something, but like him looking me up and down like that, I'm like, damn. Did he notice me like because of my shoes or something? Did he know what just took place? And that's why he looking at me up and down. Like, he made me nervous looking up and down. I ain't gonna lie. Like I say, he probably didn't suspect me of doing nothing, but I could have just been my nerves, and that's how I took it. I'm going to play Exhibit 29. If you could take a look at your screen, it's played. Do you recognize yourself coming in? Pause. Yeah. When you say that you saw someone who you thought was a police officer, is that individual we see in the screen? No, I'm not talking about him. Somebody else in the store, yeah, it's a police officer. He in there later on in the video, like he was getting ready to walk out when we was walking in. Like when I came in, like he was getting ready to walk out. Play it. Okay, there you go. Stop. So that is the individual that you believe was a police officer. Yeah. Okay, and to the right of him in our screen is that Flocka. Yeah. 1 second. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate you guys for being here. Everything is working fine. Okay, perfect. Let's continue. And to the left in our screen is that CVL Shorty, Mr. Lindsay. Yeah, you can take it down. So you were in the In-N-Out and you all ordered some food. Yeah. Do you remember anything in the In-N-Out that was said or done? Do you have any clear recollection of what was going on in the In-N-Out? Not really. I just know I wanted to get the hell out of there, get the hell out of LA. So, I mean, that's really where my mind was at, to be honest. Why did you want to get out of LA? Because, bro, I just committed a crime with these clothes on, and I just don't want to be in there no more. I just want to go, want to get on. I just don't want to, I just want to go. What happens next? We got in the truck and we drove to, you said you got back in the truck. Yeah. And where did you go? When we got back in the truck, yeah. All the way back to Cuz paid the driver. Cuz had asked the driver, like, how much will he charge to take us back to the San Diego airport? And that's where we went. That's where you went? Yeah. Okay. On the way to the airport from Los Angeles, it was a few hours drive, right? 2, 3. Yeah. Any discussions about what had happened inside of the Escalade? Or did you guys just kind of stay silent on it? There wasn't no discussion at this point right now. I can't remember no discussion. I don't think it was though, but, and who all was in the Escalade? We were on our phones and stuff. I'm sorry. Say that one more time. We were just on our phones and stuff. Like, who was in the Escalade? The driver, Flocko, me, Diddy, Boogie, Lindsay. That is like a regular Escalade. In other words, no partition or barrier from the driver and the passenger. No. Not like the Sprinter van. This is a regular kind of SUV. Yeah. Do you recall if you were, or if anyone was, if trying to figure out if anyone had been hit in the shooting? Maybe, but I ain't sure. Okay, could have been, but I can't sit up here and say yes. I can't. Okay, so you don't recall whether or not anyone else was checking their phone in the car trying to figure out what had happened. Is that a yes? You don't recall? No, I don't. Okay, and did you eventually get to the airport? Yes. Publish Exhibit 36. Please, page 4, showing you Exhibit 36, page 4. Do you recognize what I'm showing you? Yes. What am I showing you? Showing me, Diddy next to me, Boogie to my left, Flocka behind me, and the CVL Shorty behind me in the airport walking. You had already made it past TSA at this point. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how the airport built. Okay, let's go to the next page, please. Now, this is a picture of you getting onto your flight. Yeah, that is what it looks like. Yeah. Okay, and this is that the CVL Shorty, Mr. Lindsay, in front of you in the orange shirt? Yes. It looks like from the timestamp of the screenshot, this would be about, it says about 10 p.m. on August 19, 2022. Does that sound about right when you would have been at the airport? It's okay if you don't recall. Yeah, I don't. I remember it was dark when we landed, but I don't know what time it was, but let me ask you this. At what point did you find out that you had a flight booked for you to check back to Chicago? I couldn't tell you that. Were you aware that your flight back to Chicago was booked even before you reached the In-N-Out? I couldn't tell you. You don't know one way or the other. No, I don't. No. Okay, let's see the next page. This is showing page 6 of Exhibit 36. Do you recognize anyone in this photograph? Yes, Flocka and Boogie. Can you point out to us who is Flocka and who's Boogie? Yeah, Flocka is the last person standing right there. Boogie in front of him with that greenish looking shirt on. This is Flocka, the one that I made the arrow by. The individual in the black t-shirt closest to the photograph. Yes. And the individual in the sort of teal greenish shirt, bald head, that is Boogie. Yes. Do you know who this individual is that I'm pointing out that appears to be in front of both of those individuals? It looked like that is Diddy. I mean, I couldn't with the afro, the black shirt. I mean, it looked like that is deep Diddy, but I can't see his face really. Fair enough. But you all got on the same flight, yeah. And any discussions on the flight about what had happened that you can recall, I honestly can't. Okay, now you tested that initially you had been called and informed about the need for you to come to Los Angeles. You had been contacted by Booney Mo, Anthony Jones. Is that right? Yes. Okay. During this whole period of time, August 18th to August 19th, up to the shooting, did you hear from or were you in contact with Booney Mo at all? Wait, say when did you talk to Booney Mo at any time during this once you got to LA? I don't think I did. Okay. Could have, but I ain't don't recall no way or the other. No. You don't recall? I don't. Okay. Would you recognize if I played you a recording of Booney Mo's voice? Would you recognize it? Yeah. Okay. Your Honor, the government moves into evidence 292, which is a jail call subject to a stipulation with respect to its foundation. All right, 292 is admitted. Your Honor, can we have a moment? You may. Your Honor, we're going to withdraw that exhibit and introduce it through a different witness. All right, please ask your next question. Thank you. Let me ask you this, Mr. Hester. Does sometimes when a gang kills a rival or a rival dies, period, is that person's death sometimes mocked? Yes. Is that person's death sometimes used to taunt the other side? Yes. Can you explain that to us? Like, Chicago made it popular to like post pictures and make fun of a person's dead body. Or you smoking weed, you can say you smoking that person, like smoke a tuka. Like that is a very popular thing to say, tuka. That is a person, you know what I'm saying? A dead op. People say he's smoking tuka. People say he smoked like whatever just to make fun of the enemy. Kind of like smoking on their ashes. Yeah, I mean, like another word for somebody getting killed is like, man, he got his ass smoked. So, you know, like shit, you smoking him. You smoking him. I see. Okay. You eventually made it back to Chicago. Yes. Once you got back to Chicago, how are you feeling about what happened in LA? I was mad about it. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't feeling good about it at all. Why is that? For multiple reasons. Like this ain't had nothing to do with me for one. And it's like I did stuff for people that I don't know. That's how I did 12 years in jail. You did 12 years in jail on your attempted murder under the circumstances where you were doing the attempted murder with people you didn't know really well. Yeah. Were there other reasons why you felt uncomfortable with what happened? It was like shit. I felt it was sloppy. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, dude. I don't know, dude that got shot. I don't know, dude that died. Like in my eyes, if I'm going to be real with you, he was innocent. I don't know what he did in the streets. I don't know, but I didn't have no beef with him. He was an innocent person to me. Did you have any beef with Quando Rondo directly? No. Can you explain that to us? I mean, you were associated with Mr. Banks and others. Why didn't you feel like you had beef with Quando Rondo? I just said, I ain't got no beef with him. Why did you feel like that? I mean, because like this is some rap stuff that I'm not on that level. That is not where I'm at with it. Like all the NBA young boy, Quando Rondo, and like if let me put it to you like this. If Booney Mo at the time with Vaughn and Booney Mo got killed, then I associated myself with him because I got a relationship with Booney Mo and Booney Mo dead, but I didn't know Vaughn, bro. Like that wasn't my homie like that. They mad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's their homie. That is not my homie. Did you ever talk to Mr. Banks about what happened in LA once you got back to Chicago? Yeah. Tell us about it. So I called Blood. I FaceTime Blood. And you know, I was FaceTiming him. He answered. I asked him where he at. He like, I'm at the crib. I could tell he was in the I could tell he was in the crib. Like C3 Carolina was behind him, like in the cabinet doing something. But an individual you know as C3, is that what you said? Yeah. Was in appeared to be with Mr. Banks. Yeah. And could you tell where he was at Mr. Banks? Yeah, he was in the crib and he told me he was in the crib. But yeah, how did you know he was at his house if he didn't tell you he was there? Huh? How did you know he was at his house if he didn't tell you he was at his house? He told me he was at home. But you're just saying if he didn't tell me. Oh, I'm sorry. You said he did tell you he was there. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. I misheard. Because I'm like, where you at? He like, I'm in the crib. And what happens next? You know, I asked Blood like basically like, bro, Out of everybody, like there was a million people you could have called, bro. Like I just did all this time in jail. Like this is my first time being a free father to my son. Like, I want answers. And he basically like didn't even let me finish he didn't even answer my question or really let me finish. He just like told me he loved me and like smiled and then talking about y'all didn't get Quando, but y'all got Pab. Like he count. Like he be on the internet talking smoke Vaughn and all that stuff. Can you say that a little bit more slowly? You are saying that he told you guys didn't get Quando. Yeah, he said y'all didn't get Quando, but y'all got Pab. Pab count. And Pab is, do you understand Pab to be the nickname for Mr. Robinson for the person who died? Yeah. Okay, so he told you Pab counts. Yeah, because he be on I don't know if he, do that. That's the dude cousin or not, but he just was like, Pab count. And he be on the internet talking about smoking Vaughn and can't say it no more. Can't say it no more. Yeah. Is that, you remember Mr. Banks saying that? Yeah, like he can't say it no more. He can't diss on the internet. Yeah. And you said that he said that Pab be online talking about smoking Vaughn. Yeah. What did you understand that to mean? Like being disrespectful, like taunting Vaughn's death, like in a way that you described about smoking on a rival who has passed. Yes. Did he seem pleased with the fact that Mr. Robinson, Lil Pab, was dead? Yeah, blood was smiling. Yeah, he was. Yeah, you could see him smile on the FaceTime. Yeah, and when he told you that, what was your reaction? How did you respond? How did you replay? Just like whatever. Like this ain't what I called out about, but whatever. Like I ain't tell him that, but in my mind, I'm just like, you said in your mind you thought that it's not what I called about. Can you explain what you mean by that? Like I said, I was calling him to ask him about why put me in that situation with niggas I don't know. But he didn't have no reply for that. That wasn't his concern. Like he didn't. When you say people you don't know, you had met Flocka before. Yeah. But you didn't feel close enough to him to do that kind of thing. No. Why do you say that? Because I mean, I don't. When you don't know what somebody capable of, you don't know what somebody capable of. I mean, the person that I caught my attempted murder with, I met him multiple times and he was Booney Mo's cousin and been around me. But as soon as I did some dirt with him, he told on me and I went to jail. I mean, that's just, so they stick with me. So I don't feel comfortable doing stuff with people that I don't know like that. So did you respond at all to Mr. Banks? You said internally you thought this is not what I called for. What did you say in response to what he had told you about Lil Pab still counting? Really just got off the phone. He said what he said, and I agreed with him and got off the phone. You said you agreed with him. Yeah, okay. Okay. Were you ever offered any kind of payment for this? Me? No. At some point after this shooting in Los Angeles, the court, Mr. Morris, let me know a conventional time to take a break. This is a good time, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen, remember what you're saying. Let's be back at 10:35. You guys good in the chat? Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate you guys for being here. What? Going off on who? Hey, what's up? Who we going off on? Anyways, all right, counsel, anything to deputies, you can remove Mr. Hester. Mr. Hester, you can step down from the stand. Please be ready as soon at 10:35 or as soon thereafter you can. Anything before we break briefly, not from the government, Your Honor, no, sir. No, Your Honor, no, Your Honor. One thing, Mrs. Robinson, anything you feel that you have to leave, anytime you feel you have to leave, I said this is your lawyer. Sometimes I know where there might be different testimony coming up. Sometimes I don't. You might find certain testimony particularly difficult, like at the in and out, for instance, so you can be sure. So you can be here as often as you want. You can leave, you can come back, whatever you feel. Thank you. All right. The court, welcome back, members of the jury. All right, all 15 of you here. Mr. Hester still on the stand, still on the oath. Counsel, you may proceed. Thank you. Mr. Hester, we left off with discussing the conversation you had with Mr. Banks. I just want to clarify something. You said you were not offered payment for this killing. No, I wasn't. Okay, but do you mean after the killing you weren't offered payment? Were you ever offered payment after the killings? No. But you testified earlier about Atlanta and there being leading, overruled, and setting up. You testified earlier that in Atlanta you were present at a studio session where Mr. Banks had told a group, including you, all right, just set it at the studio session, counsel, and then stop with the leading questions. Sure. Just to be clear, did you feel that you were offered payment back in Atlanta? Yeah, it was a group discussion. But leading on afterwards, though, like that was my thought. Understood about it. At some point after the shooting in Los Angeles, though, did you end up recording the song? Yeah. Was that on whose record label that was on? Who record label was the song on? Yes, Federal Freestyle. It was on the OTF album. You made a song with OTF called Federal Freestyle. Yeah. And do you know what was that album released? Was that released on an album? Yes. What was the album called? Loyal Bros 2. Loyal Bros 2. Yeah. Your Honor, may we publish 184, a move to admit 184, which this court has ordered admissible. 184 is admitted. 184 received. Thank you. Okay, I'm showing you page 1 of Exhibit 184. Do you recognize what I'm showing you? Yeah. Can you just zoom in a little bit? What are we looking at? Album cover, Loyal Bros 2, and basically my name showing the song. Yeah. This is the album that your song was on, Federal Freestyle. Yes. If we go to page 2, please, looking at Exhibit 184, page 2, what are we seeing here? A video for it, for the song. When did you record this song? Approximately, if you remember. Was it after the shooting? Yeah, it was after, sometime later on that year. I'm sorry, can you repeat that again? I said, yeah, sometime later on that year. Now, did you, before the shooting in LA, had you ever recorded a song with the OTF label? No. Were you paid for that song? Yeah. Do you remember how much? Like 10,000? Yeah. Based on the conversation with Mr. Banks and your association with him, do you think that you would have been able to appear on this album if you were to have not gone forward with the LA shooting? Objection, cause of speculation, overruled. Wait, say it again. So if you had declined, if you had said, no, I'm out, I'm not going to commit this shooting with you guys, do you think you would have been appearing on that album? No. You're shaking your head. No. Why is that? Wouldn't even been around if, can you speak up just a little bit, please, Mr. Hester? I said I wouldn't even been around if I declined to something, I know he wanted done. I mean, no, I wouldn't. Why do you think that? Even if I even be alive, what did you just say? Say, even if I would have been alive. Objection. We'll discuss it at sidebar. But you may continue your answer, Mr. Hester. Let me ask you. So the answer is no. You don't think you would have? No. Okay. In terms of the other people, the Flocka and CVL shorty, did you have any understanding as to whether they were going to be paid for what happened? Was they going to get paid? Yeah. You thought they were going to get paid? Yeah. Like, we was in the car before we left LA. Diddy had called Blood and asked Blood, like, Flocka and you still going to straighten them out with the money? And he was like, yeah. Blood was like, yeah, I got him. And Diddy was trying to stay back with Cuz to get the money, but Blood like, I got him. Just go on and go back. Let me ask you a question this way. Is there any reason that you could imagine that Flocka and CVL shorty, objection, cause of speculation, the way it's phrased, sustained, based on your association with Mr. Banks, Mr. Wilson, cause you spent a lot of time with them when you got out of prison? Is that fair? Yes. Okay, based on the relationship that you understood that Mr. Jones had with that group of folks, can you imagine why they would have come out, or can you? Objection, speculation, Your Honor. Let me hear the question. And does it make sense to you? Well, why would they have come out? Why would they have come out just as loyalty to the group? Were they close enough to just do it out of loyalty? Objection, speculation, Your Honor. Your Honor, the objection is sustained. As for your next question, Mr. Morris, ask your next question. I'm sorry. Did you view those individuals as having a close relationship with Durk Banks? No. Close enough to commit a murder for him? Objection, speculation, Your Honor. All right. Also, there is no basis for this. Sustained. The objection is sustained. All right, counsel, please approach. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back with you just in a moment. And then at the bench, sidebar, where nobody could hear. All right, he certainly has a basis to say whether he would have been offered the opportunity on the album or not, the same way a summer association would say, oh, I agreed to bribe the judge on behalf of the senior partner in the next year. And as soon as I graduated from law school, I was granted a partnership. That would be ludicrous. And frankly, given he's already said he's had no musical background on it, so that makes sense here. All right, back to open court. Again, ladies and gentlemen, feel free to stand and stretch, chat amongst yourself about anything unrelated to the case, and then at the bench, okay, the court. However, here it may or may not be that he could possibly say that he has a sense of rather that would have rather they would have done the murder, but we just can't get in front of this, in front of the jury. I mean, there's just too much risk, and it could be leading to 404B, or it could just be his own speculation. He certainly can testify about his own perception of how close they were to Mr. Banks. But really, I think going beyond that right now, especially whether I have no idea about what he's going to say, I just look on to it as too risky. And it could be he's just speculating, frankly, which is what the objection was. Yeah, fair enough. And I think what he would say is that they weren't in an inner circle of OTF. If you want to argue that later on, that is fine. He certainly has and can testify to his own perception of any hierarchy that existed. But just don't, again, if I may say it to the government, you are going to have a closing argument. I'll give you as much time as you need. You can try to draw these things, but to think you just can't expect the witness to be your mouthpiece here on advancing your theory to the jury to a certain degree. You can, and I'll allow it. First of all, if there is no objection, a second, if it is helpful to the jury. And then when this happens, as I've already said, I apply it to both sides. That for the jury to understand why something is happening at this time. But what I don't want is for the government to just turn the witnesses into mouthpieces to say, by asking this question, I'm now telling the jury why this is significant, and therefore now give me the answer I expect. Understood, Your Honor. All right. I was just going to say, Your Honor, he said in multiple interviews that it doesn't make sense they wanted him to fly out based on the relationship that understood OTF to have. You weren't around. That is what his basis would be. We weren't trying to make it in his mouthpiece. That's really, but is such a fine line between, I understand speculation and foundation. I'm just not prepared to interject into the trial when you are perfectly free to get out of these facts and then argue them. I understand, Your Honor. I believe that he just testified. They asked about, are they close? And he just said no. It was asked and answered, if I'm not mistaken, right? Well, first of all, he's both sides of the 31 statements. Both sides can impeach a witness, hint, hint, including here at some point. But they are free to say, didn't you tell the FBI on such and such date that this was this and that was that? So the fact that he has said it is neither here nor there, but it's impossible then for the government to further elicit information on this topic. I'm not just going to cut it off because he gave a certain answer. Understood. Thank you. Understood. Thank you. Counsel, you may proceed. Thank you, Your Honor. I want to talk to you about some other folks in Chicago, O Block. All right, you testified that King Von was an O Block member. Yeah. Okay, before the Los Angeles shooting, did you have any sense, or did Mr. Banks ever communicate with you, rather how he felt about how O Block was handling King Von's death? All right, counsel, those are two separate questions. So you're going to either ask about what Mr. Banks thought, if he knew, or some sense, in which case I question whether that is a proper question. So just focus on that. Mr. Morris, fair enough, Your Honor. It's the second question that was my ultimate one. You're right. The first one wasn't good. Did Mr. Banks ever have a conversation with you about O Block related to King Von's death? Yes. Okay. Can you tell us about that? Basically about them running, the whole world seeing them running. They let it happen, basically, and none of them want to do nothing. Like there was arrangements made, and that is from him. This is from blood. This ain't me. but he let it be known that he had offered like to pay for Airbnbs for the older be in Atlanta to try to do their homework in business or do they homework, meaning like get locations, find out where they at, and do something like Vaughn getting killed, but they ain't take the opportunity. They weren't on it. Okay, so let me just back up for a second. One of the first things you said was the whole world saw them run. Yeah. Were those the words that Mr. Banks used? Yeah. Okay. Do you know if when King Von was killed, if members of O Block was present? Yeah. That is who he was with. With O Block? Yeah. Okay. And what did you understand Mr. Banks' statement to you that the whole world saw them run? Because it's a video. It's a video of them of when Von got killed and everybody saw the video. The whole world saw the video. So have you seen the video? Yeah. Did you see people running? Yes. People from O Block? Yes. Did Mr. Well, let's talk about that conversation that or that statement that you heard Mr. Banks say. Can you tell us kind of where were you? Was that in person? Give us some color space. Give us some color, please. The first time I heard it was when him and Duck got into it. Okay, you said Duck, yeah. Is that Muna Duck? Yeah. Who is Muna Duck? From the O Block. From the O Block, yeah. You said the first time you heard something like this from Mr. Banks was when Mr. Banks got into it with that means kind of beef. Yeah. Tell us more about that. Him and Duck having words. I keep saying Duck. Him and Duke having words and stuff, but like tell you about the whole situation, like how they got into it, or just, you want to hear that specific. Well, at some point, were you present for a FaceTime call where some conversations were had about Mona Duke? When him and Duke was on, I mean, him and Durk had put a comment on the internet basically towards the O, and Booney and Blood was together, and they Booney group time FaceTime me and Diddy and Durk and Duke was having words like Duke like basically telling Blood like, man, we out here like we out here, y'all ain't out here, we out here every day, ain't nobody sliding on us, like we outside every day and our shit. And Durk like, well, what y'all do for Vaughn? Y'all didn't do nothing for Vaughn. You saying y'all out here? We not out here. We not out there. What y'all doing? Duke like, what y'all do? Like, we the only ones doing something. He's like, don't even worry about it. We did something. You know what I'm saying? Like, they was going back and forth, and who was saying don't worry about what they did, who did something? Blood say that. And what happened next? And they was just going back and forth like, Duke was saying stuff, Durk was saying stuff, like me and Diddy was getting mad, and we were saying like, man, get Blood. First, we was telling Booney, tell him stop talking to the dude, like tell him to stop talking to the dude. And he gave Blood the phone, and Blood started talking to me and Diddy, and we tell him like, bro, like fuck dude, them bro, ain't nothing to talk about, bro. If they want to be into that shit, we can be into that. Just so we are clear, you and Diddy you are not in the room with Blood or Booney Mo. No, them together, they are together, yeah. And they are, Booney Mo calls you on FaceTime, yeah. Yes, and he calls you on FaceTime arguing with Duke. He called me and Diddy on the group FaceTime, yeah. And you are saying that Blood, Mr. Banks, was on a different line talking to someone that you thought was Mona Duke, yes. And you and Diddy, although you were on the group, you could still hear what was going on. Yeah, Booney was right there next to Blood. And you were asking Booney, put Bloods on the phone. Why is he talking to them? Yeah. Okay. Now, did you ever talk to Mr. Banks about O Block's lack of action separate from that incident? Yeah, we had group conversations, but it was like, well, it was basically fuck them. Like, Duke felt like Durk was mad at him or didn't fuck with him because of fat. Only truth be told, but let me stop you for a second. Is it fair to say there was some disappointment from, as far as you could tell from Mr. Banks, that O Block wasn't taking action? Yeah, That is his reason not messing with the O Block or wanting them around. Got it. Are you familiar with someone named Rico Lamron? Richo. I'm sorry, Richo Lamron. Yeah, the government offers Exhibit 25, which is the photograph. Exhibit 25 is emitted and it is received. Could you please spell the name of the individual? Source Richo and then Lamron. As in Lamron 300. Yes. All right. Thank you. The exhibit is emitted. Thank you. I'm showing you Exhibit 25. Do you recognize who I'm showing you? Yeah, that is Richard Ramsey. Richard Ramsey. Does he go by Rico Lamron? Richo or Rico Lamron? Yeah. Was he from Lamron? Yes. Did there come a time in 2023 when there was beef with Rico Lamron? Yeah, that was beef with him and our whole block. Yeah, okay. And were you involved in that beef? Yes. Was Mr. Wilson involved in that beef? Yes. Was Mr. Bank involved in that beef? Yes. At some point, was there some discussion about doing some harm to Rico Lamron? Yes. Committing a violent act? Yeah. Were you a part of those discussions? Yes. Were you one of the people where those decisions had in the group chat? Were some of those decisions had in the group chat? Yeah, we message sometimes about stuff like that. Yeah. But did you have those discussions with Mr. Banks directly via a messaging service? Yeah. First, can you give us some background? What was going on? Why were you guys beefing with Rico? Because our block felt some type of way about Booney Mo, didn't want Booney Mo around, and we all took Booney Mo's side. Okay, some internal dispute. They were mad at Booney Mo. Objection to repeating. I just want to, the objection is overruled. So there was some, Lamron had beef with Booney Mo, and you guys took Booney Mo's side. Yes, okay. And you can turn to Exhibit 228. It should be in your binder, sir. Volume 2 actually is Volume 3. I think it says 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4. You can turn to what? 228. Let me know when you are there. I'm here. Do you recognize the documentation? Yes. Are these messages between you and Mr. Banks on Instagram? Yes. Is that a conversation that occurred in 2023? Yes. Okay. Are you talking about the Rico Lamron beef? Yes. Yes. All right. Your Honor, the government moves to admit 228. It's admitted. It's received. Thank you. It can be published. Showing you 228. It's a one-page exhibit. You said you recognize this. Yes. What are you looking at here? This is between me and Blood. Message between you and Blood. Yeah. We see what appears to be an Instagram handle. The voice. Yes. Was that the Instagram handle that you communicated with Mr. Banks to? Yes. You see another Instagram handle that says ebankjam7900. Yes. Was that your Instagram handle in 2023? It was OTF.jam7900. So you ended up changing it afterwards. I ended up changing it. So at this time, it was OTF Jam. Yeah. And looks like this message string begins on February 28, 2023. You agree with that? Yes. Okay. It looks like you leaving a voice note. Well, first of all, we have a text message here. First message from Mr. Banks. Do you remember what that was about? It's okay if you don't. No. Okay. No memory of that. Okay. I have to see what's ahead. Fair enough. But under this heading of February 28, 2023 at 6 a.m., the first message we see from you is a voice note. You agree with that? Yes. Okay, it appears to be liked by Mr. Banks. Yes. Okay, we're going to play the voice note if the court allows. But before we do that, there is some terms that you use in this voice note that are unique to Chicago. Do you agree with that? Well, let me ask you this. I got to hear it first. Fair. Let me just ask you some questions then. In Chicago, do folks use the word foe, like foe, F-O-E? Yes, short for folks or we folks. Got it. It's kind of like bro or homie or family. Yeah, okay, all right. With that background, also, did you have the habit of saying the terms, oh, Mo? Yeah, oh, little Mo. Yeah, the court counsel. Your Honor, would the court give a limited instruction at the appropriate time? This has been going on for a while. I will, but let me say one thing. We'll discuss it. I will, if necessary. But for now, you can continue to ask the witness the meaning of certain slang that was unique to Chicago. Thank you. So we talked about foe means. It's short for folks, like bro, kind of, yeah. And did you use around this time, did you and Mr. Banks, Mr. DB, or Mr. Wilson, Mr. Houston, and so forth, did you guys have something sometimes say things and say like, I put that on Mo, that's on little Mo. Yeah, Houston didn't though, but like me, okay, Diddy and Durk, we did because we know little Mo, and little Mo was from. I mean, that is Diddy cousin too, but Houston didn't know him, so he ain't put it on little Mo. Got you. So when you say something like on Mo, you are essentially swearing on that person's grave. Yeah, snapping it basically. Yeah, Mo passed away. Yes. Okay, I think we are ready to hear this now. Your Honor, we may before they do it. Again, ladies and gentlemen, this will be very quick. Feel free to stand, stretch, talk amongst yourself, all that other stuff. All right. And all right, nice shoes, Mr. Mills. Thank you. From this perspective up here, first of all, you have barely laid a foundation from which the jury could conclude that this was a co-conspirator statement. And I think is iffy enough that as a limiting instruction, I would just say to them, look, the government is suggesting to you that this is arising ultimately from thoughts about O'Block and King Von. But if you don't believe that or that isn't shown to you, then you should just disregard this. And the second thing is, I assume, Mr. Steele, that you wanted to say that nobody is on trial for anything not alleged in the indictment. But if what was on the other limited instruction that you would want, it's been going on for several minutes. Yeah, but thus far, there was the illusion that there was the reference to violence. As to that, I agree. But beyond that, it's all been after that, it's all been insinuous. So, but still, I'll let the jury know. Your Honor, if I may, this is a 404B with respect to Rico Lambron is leading, and I've got them haunting you. I understand that, but the point is, it is so. The jury doesn't. The jury might very. If the jury don't believe it, then it's nothing. Okay, so that it is fair enough. That is the point here. That's what I was trying to clarify. This is not necessarily related to O Block. This is related to I've got them hunting you, which was at the court's rule relative to structure and mode of stalking violence. But the point is, if it's not arising from the O Block, then why this is not be admissible against anyone other than Mr. Banks? Oh no, I'm not saying that it is, Your Honor. So you are saying it is appropriate to give a limited instruction that is not being offered for Mr. Wilson or Mr. Lindsay? Not for Mr. Lindsay, because Mr. Wilson is going to be in the group chat where the I've got them hunting you is discussed. And this witness, I believe, would testify that he was a part of that conspiracy to get Rico Lambron. So I think it would be appropriate only with respect to Lindsay for a limited instruction. Your Honor, I would like to be heard on that, yes. And there's no assent to that. That does not make it a 404B, and it shouldn't apply to him. The limited instruction should extend to Mr. Wilson. All right. If he was just simply there as a recipient, then it's not as if he's going to testify on this, and you would impeach him by saying, well, didn't you hear this said? So I'm going to limit it to just Mr. Banks on this, unless you can verify something and tell me why I shouldn't. I couldn't recall right now if Didi makes a response. Does he? Didi's attorney goes, what I would say, Your Honor, is that my recollection is that you first admitted this. It was based on one of the 404B factors was the relationship of co-conspirators and Mr. Banks' leadership amongst which would be the fact he was on the thing. So I'll just make it clear that the jury, I'll just tell them that this is the reason the government is offering this on that, and then make it clear that none of the defendants are on trial for anything which is not alleged in the indictment. And then finally, that is not evidence in any way against Mr. Lindsay. Okay, thank you, Your Honor. And then back in open court. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard some testimony here in regard to Richard Ramsey, who was known as Rico Lambron. And as to that testimony, I have some instructions for you. As I've told you now several times certain evidence is only admitted for a limited purpose. Here the government is on the view that this whole line of testimony they will argue is useful to show relationship between the co-conspirators and who had a leadership in it. You may or may not believe this evidence. That is obviously true of all evidence. You may or may not find the evidence useful for the purpose for which the government is offering it. You may or may not, but it can't be used for any other purposes. None of the defendants is on trial for anything which is not alleged in the indictment. They are on trial only for the crimes which are alleged in the indictment, and you should keep that in mind. That is the reason that you are hearing this evidence, just as you've heard evidence of certain gang affiliations, for a very narrow, limited purpose. I've told you that many times. And finally, this whole exchange that you are hearing is simply not evidence of any sort against Mr. Lindsay. It's just not relevant to him, his guilt or innocence in any way. You know, I've told you now several times that what we really have here are 15 trials, sorts of happening simultaneously for each of the 3 defendants on each of the 5 counts. And at the end of the case, as to each defendant, as to each count, you will have to determine whether the government has met its burdens of proving the elements beyond a reasonable doubt. That is, as judges of the facts. That is why you are here. And when you do that, whether you find a defendant guilty or innocent on one count has nothing to do with whether you find a defendant guilty or innocent on another count. And likewise, whether you find one defendant guilty has nothing to do with whether you find the other defendant guilty. As to this evidence, it just simply has nothing to do with Mr. Lindsay. Counsel, all right. You may proceed. Thank you, Your Honor. If we could do a side by side, Your Honor, the government moves to admit evidence 220A, 220-A and 220-B. The court 220-A and B are admitted. Sorry, that is the wrong. Sorry, I was going to say they were previously. Pardon me. It's 228A and 228B. That is what I thought here, but they are admitted for the reasons that I previously expressed. Thank you. Can we do a side by side 228A and that's exhibit? Don't play it yet. So you can send a voice note to Mr. Banks about the Rico Lamron and Lamron beef. Yes. Okay. Let's play it. Okay. Was that voice note that you just sent about the Rico Lamron stuff you just talked about? Yes. And in summary, what are you trying to communicate there? Just like, bro, they did all this stuff on social media, bro. This is like they excluded themselves from this and basically like shutting all the optional. Like if y'all, what are y'all going on OTF ain't got nothing to do with this, you know, us. So basically saying fuck us. So fuck them. Like it is what it is. Like we ain't stopped talking or nothing. They still don't act like they want to have a conversation after they did something bogus. Like tell them shit. What's the point of talking? Like fuck them. What were you suggesting instead of talking? What was I suggesting? Yeah. Let's be into it. Yeah. What does that involve in this context? What do it involve? Yeah. Whatever, however we want to do it. If we are going to play gun play, we're going to play gun play or whatever. If they want to fight, I'm with whatever. Like I'm with. You guys, I'm on page 94. I'm gonna stop here because first of all, OTF Jam is still on the stand, and throughout the day I upload short clips of everything that I go through and everything that I focus on. I am running off of 3.5 hours of sleep. Okay, last night my live stream was messing up, and I was just so determined to get through that full transcript, and I did that, and that transcript ended up being 2 hours and like 15 minutes long, and I didn't go to sleep until about 2 a.m. and then I woke up at 5:30 to go back down to the courthouse, and I have to wake up that early too. So my eyes are kind of like hurting, and I think I'm gonna crash. So like the video, subscribe to the channel. Remember, I'm on page 94. It's kind of okay that I didn't finish this set of transcripts because we're still dealing with the same witness. Make sure you guys follow me on every single social media platform. That is Instagram, that is TikTok, that is Twitch. And I want you guys to understand that I don't have to go back and forth with nobody, not even a white boy at the court. If you go and look at everybody else's numbers on every other platform besides YouTube, I'm the most viral thing out there. And that's just not even just collaborating with other people like Dub. And shout out to Dub for coming through and me breaking the news. Is before that. Like my reels and my uploads on TikTok and Instagram, you know, 2 of them got 1 million views and others got like 100,000 and 50 and 70,000. Nobody is getting those type of numbers. I came into the Lil Durk trial with a master plan and it's been working. And I don't know, I don't know what anybody else is doing and I'm not paying attention to them. But when I release clips of what's going on in the case every single day, I'm telling you the facts. And oftentimes that shit can flip, depends on if the prosecutor is examining and then the defense is cross-examining. So when the prosecutor is examining, it sounds a certain way. And then when the defense, Brian Stills, come and do their job, it can be something completely different. But I think it's important to let you guys know what's going on inside the court building every single day with those little short video clips. And there are so many people adding their opinions and adding slick statements and stuff to this when somebody's life is on the line. So as somebody who's mature, when I come out here to give you information, I think it's best if I stick to the black and white, the court transcripts. And that's what we're going to continue to do. This concludes part 2 of OTF Jam's testimony. We're going to be doing a part 3 tomorrow, and over the weekend, we're going to catch up on these transcripts. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised.
What is in your life's blueprint?